only mode.
Hello there, just in case you've come on early. I hope you've had a good week so far. Just going to wait a few minutes for people to come in on. They're probably going to getting their kids to bed and having dinner and all the rest of it. And then we'll get cracking pretty prompt. And then people can catch up as and when, seeing as how it's only half an hour. If you can just type in the box, if you've got a question box, just type in the box to let me know that you can hear me. That'd be great. Thanks, Liz. Well, we're going to give it a few more seconds, then we're going to get cracking. Rightio. So, half an hour webinar. Thanks for turning up. Just a quick background on myself. My name's Dan, founder of Kent Boot Camps. Been going for about 5 years. Been in the industry for 14, 15 years after going to university and studying sports science. I've been sort of involved with holistic health. That's kind of my specialism. How we can improve our health through looking at things as a whole, as opposed to looking at the physical. So you probably noted that through boot camp. If you come to our boot camps, our message is not just about the physical side of it. It's about the diet, the lifestyle, mental, emotional, etc. I think it's the only way really of gaining true health and fitness. Some other people may argue with that, but I believe in my experience it's the best way forward. So I just thought I haven't done a webinar for a while. I was going to talk just half an hour, a few tips on how to stay focused and hit or smash your weight loss goals. Because many of us can stay focused for a small period of time, maybe 3-4 weeks. But then after that, it becomes a little bit troublesome because things get in the way. So tonight I'm going to talk mainly about mindset and the mental side of it, because there's lots of information on our members site, our nutrition side of things that you can download. So you've got the nuts and bolts there. But hopefully the information I give you tonight you can apply to that. And I'm always here to help. And we're always here to kind of ask questions and give you support and accountability if required. So please feel free to type a question into the box at any time. And if I can't answer it there and then, I'll answer it at the end. Or if not, I'll get back to you by email or however. So just to start off with, I wanted to get a feel for whereabouts you're at, because everybody's coming probably from a different knowledge-based background, fitness level. Some people may have jobs, other people may be full-time mums. People may have exercised or new exercised. Some of you out there may have changed their diet recently, or perhaps are struggling with their diet or struggle to get a balance. So I'm going to go through different sort of stages, I suppose, of health and fitness, and you can at any point just type in what sort of level stage you think you're at. So I'm going to ask kind of where are you at right now. Let me just run through. There's kind of 4 levels that I kind of I sort of kind of go through that you can probably assign yourself. Level 1 is, where are you in terms of health and fitness? and your diet, your lifestyle. Really this is looking at kind of like your knowledge base, what's your understanding of it. The first one, level one, would be sort of unconsciously incompetent. Basically, you're unaware of what you should be doing. This really applies with people out there that are really busy, that don't get time to think about anything else. They're in work, life, and all the rest of it, and they haven't got time to think about food, and it's a little bit of an inconvenience. So that would be the kind of level one. That's probably not the best place to be, but a lot of people tend to be in that. They're so unaware of what's going on around them that food is something that really isn't important to them. Level two is kind of consciously competent, kind of an idea of what they should be doing, of they're conscious that they don't really know what they're doing. So that's kind of like the next step from being unconsciously competent, is the fact that you're conscious that you haven't got a clue about what you should be eating, or you're confused about what to eat or live, or how we should be exercising, etc. Hopefully, if you've been to boot camps, you know a little bit more about that. Level three is what I I think most of maybe of you out there, I hear a lot. You think you're consciously competent, so you think you know what you're doing. Many times I ask people, how's your diet? And they say, it's great, I think it's really good. And then I say, what do you have for breakfast? And they say, Weetabix. And I say, okay, well, maybe we need to work on that. So sometimes we get mixed messages. We're a little bit confused. We think from things that we read on the press, the magazines, on TV, etc., that we have an understanding of what we should be doing, and we think we're doing it right. But actually, when it comes down to it, we're not probably doing it as well as we should be. We really haven't got a clue what we're doing. Level four is you're conscious that you know what you should be doing. You know your kind of information about how to exercise, how to live well, how to be healthy, how to lose weight. But all you kind of lapse, and you just need a little bit of inspiration and motivation to actually get you going and get you moving once in a while. So maybe you could just type in in the box just 1, 2, or 3, or 4 where you think you are right now, and that'll give me an indication of kind of how much kind of work you need to, how much education, how much reinforcement, how much support, how much accountability you need right now. So just all we have to do is put a number in, press enter into the questions box, and that will be helpful. I'll give you 10 seconds. You've got a few seconds left. Cool. Right. So that's great. That gives me an idea. Excellent. So the main thing that I over the sort of years of working in the industry and working holistic with people, working with people in weight loss, is it's all about mindset. It's all about your thought processes and how you manage your thinking. And this great quote, describes it quite well. And once your mindset changes, everything on the outside will change along with it. So if you want to change the way you look, your health, your fitness, if you want to lose weight, then you need to change the way you think. And again, that comes down to being aware, being mindful. So hopefully some of the information that I go through later on in the presentation will just jog you and give you more information that you can kind of go, that's what I need to do. That's how I need to get there, and just give you some food for thought, literally. So to succeed, these are the kind of attributes that you need to lose weight. Please bear in mind also, just as a quick note, when I talk about health and fitness, and health in particular, if your goal is, like most, to lose a few pounds and tone up, then really your target, rather than to cut calories and have a sort of a weird relationship with food, it's about being healthy. And if you're healthy, then the byproduct of that is weight loss. So if I keep saying about being healthy and rather than assigning relating it completely to weight loss, you get the gist. It's about the whole. So these are the things you need. Awareness. First of all, we need to be aware. So that's why I went through that first task of whether you're kind of conscious that you have an issue or you need to change, and whether, where you're at right now. That's important. And also, obviously, where we need to go. Education is key. Knowledge, just like anything else, if you want to succeed in it, you need to understand how it works. If you want to understand how to make money, then you need to understand, how to invest, how to save your money, how to put your money in the right places, etc. And you would either hire somebody to do that, or you would read around that topic. Now, health and nutrition and fitness is the same. If you want to kind of get the best out of it and you want to take control and take responsibility, then you need to learn around it. And that's why you're here and listening to this, which is great. So the more you can read around the subject and make your own decisions on what's required, then the better. You need to have a plan. Sometimes what I find is that, especially for gym users, they tend to kind of, they haven't got a clue what to do. So they go to the gym. I'm just using gym because obviously boot camp, we have it planned for you. Go to the gym, they do 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, they'll faff around and do a few ab exercises, and then they're in the jacuzzi. There's no real direction or plan about where they need to go. So a plan is actually crucial in actually get you to the end result. So if you're exercising frequently but you haven't changed your diet and nothing's happening, then a plan about how you can change your diet and what things are required is going to help. Is important. But you may need some extra help from us guys, which is always there. You need some motivation. And where do you think that motivation comes from? The motivation isn't external, it's internal. And what we tend to ask people to do when they join boot camp is to find out why they're doing it. What is it they want to do from it? Why is it they actually want to lose weight? What is it going to give you? How is your life going to be different? Asking questions like, what can you do now if you lost, for example, half a stone that you can't do now? How are you going to feel if you lost 1 stone? What are you going to feel like if you walk into a room at work, for example, and you did a presentation and you felt slimmer and more toned? So these are the things that we want to, get to the bottom of, because these are the true motivators that keep us motivating when we're busy at work, when we're tired, when we don't want to we want to sit on the sofa and not do anything. Being consistent is another success requirement, and taking action is already well, kind of having awareness, having knowledge, having a plan, being motivated. But if you're not doing anything about it, then it's pretty useless. And it's about consistent action. The people that I work with over the years that really dramatically change the way they look and feel are the ones that have done it over years or months and years. And they're the ones that bounce back from illness, from injury, from feeling depressed, from being busy at work. So I can't underestimate the power of consistent action. To succeed, you need support, and that can come from your family, your friends, your colleagues, people at boot camp, people at the gym, wherever you can get it. You need support, mentally and emotionally, and it can be a tough one, especially when you might be changing a lot of your mindset, and your goals are very driven and you're very motivated, but the people around you aren't supporting you or aren't on the same wavelength, and you're going one way and they're going the other way or staying put, and that can be quite tough. So it's all about being, having a conversation, being open and getting people on board and communicating with people and telling them exactly what it is you're trying to do, and more importantly, why you want to do it and how it's going to affect you and them. You need accountability. For a lot of people that come to boot camp, it's just, you've got an appointment, you've paid for it, obviously you have fun and you enjoy it, etc. But it's that appointment of having to go, having, writing goals down, verbally telling people about them, having your goals on view so that you can actually be accountable to them is really powerful. I have been to personal training for many years, and I would generally say that the number one reason people come to see me is because if they didn't pay to see me, they wouldn't come. And that's just being brutally honest. And it's not a good place to be, but that's the truth. It's about bounce back ability. You've had plenty of this. I remember this Football Manager, I think it was on Sky Sports. This was a new word that came out a few years ago, and it's quite a cool word. I don't think it's in the dictionary, but it's about how quickly can you bounce back from those days when you've had a niggle on your knee, or you've been injured, or you don't feel like it, or you've been away on holiday, or it's been Easter and you've eaten too much chocolate eggs, or I don't know, you kind of you've had a busy period at work and you haven't had time to eat properly. How quickly can you get over that and get back on it to consistent action and get back to driven where you need to go? This is all the attributes you need to succeed in terms of weight loss. So these are all really attributes of mindset, and I think it's very key that we understand the importance of each one. Now, many of you may have come across being smart and setting smart goals. I love this quote from Jim Rohn, because it explains that we all have choice, and we all have kind of the same choices out there in terms of information that we can get hold of. And it's about what we do with it and what action we take. It's really not the setting of the sail. It's not the direction of the wind that determines the way. It's how you set the sail in the reflection of the wind that determines which way you go. So it's up to you which way what you make of it. Essentially, you need to design what we call SMART goals. I haven't got time to go through all those, but you probably came across that if you're in the workplace. It's pretty common and the very well known method of splitting down goals into goals that are very specific to what you need to do in terms of, like, for example, if you want to lose weight, then you need to. You can't be as generic as saying I want to lose weight. You have to say, well, I want to lose 6 pounds of body fat, for example. It needs to be measurable, so that would be an example of being measurable. It needs to be attainable or achievable, so you have to kind of have related it to what you've done in the past and what's relative to your lifestyle. We're going to talk a lot about being realistic tonight, because I think this is a big one for a lot of people. They get demotivated and frustrated because they have too high expectations. And it needs to be assigned to a time frame. So if I want to lose 6 pounds, I want to lose that by June the 1st. It has to be very specific. So if you're not being realistic, all that happens is you get frustrated. We see this a lot. It's easy to get frustrated because we get bombarded with these kind of images of people being ripped with 6 packs and models with size 6 and size 8 and all the rest of it. So we have this this unrealistic sort of framework to try and strive towards. And I'm going to talk to you about actually what it takes in order to get you there. And this is the most important thing, I think, take away from this presentation is the next few slides, because I want you to understand what exactly you're willing to compromise and change in order to get what you want. So that can be anything. That can be if you want to sleep better, if you want to move better, if you want to feel better, if you want to lose weight, etc. Think about your goals, think about your lifestyle, think about what you've done in the past, think how much time you've got and how much motivated you are on a scale from 1 to 10, and then try and work out where you think you want to be and what you're prepared to change. So this is right at the top. This is where most people want to strive. They want that athletic look, the oiled, brown tanned, ripped page on the top of Men's Health or or Vogue magazine. So we need to eat clean foods 100% of the time. That's 100% of the time you're eating foods that nature intended, that don't come out of a box, that you cook from scratch. Basically, that's pretty tough. You need to eat according to your metabolic type. Just a quick background: metabolic typing. I've been a metabolic typer for many years. are qualified to basically assess people and find out which foods suit them. So it's about tailoring the types of food that suits you rather than anybody else. To have that athletic look, you can have 0 desserts, no biscuits, no chocolate, ever, pretty much. You got to you can't cheat. 0 alcohol. How many of us out there have alcohol? Once a week, twice a week, every night. You need to train like an athlete. Some of these athletes will train once, perhaps twice a day, sometimes more than that. If you want to look like one, you've got to train like one. There's no reason they look like athletes, because they train like athletes. You need to get good sleep. How many of you out there are get good 7-8 hours sleep a night unbroken? You need to drink water, only water. So there we go. There's the athletic look. Then we're coming down to carrying 1 or 2 pounds of body fat. So, pretty ripped still, hardly any low percentage body weight, probably under 5% body fat. You still need to eat clean foods, but maybe 95% of the time. So you need to probably eat, for most people, and this depends on their metabolic type a little bit, but most people in this part of the world, in England and the northern equator where it's cold, well, it's going to get hotter, eat high protein and low sugar, low GI foods. Glycemic index is basically how quickly carbohydrates break down and get into our blood sugar. You can't eat desserts, biscuits, but maybe very occasionally, maybe once a week, something like that. 0 alcohol, exercise 5 or 6 times per week, at least 7 hours of sleep quality a night. Drink mainly water, but maybe caffeine once a week, twice a week, the max. So carrying 0.5 stone to 1 stone of body fat. So this is probably common for most people out there. Eat clean whole foods 80% of the time. So 1/5 of the time, you're falling off the wagon, you have something from packaged food or processed food. Generally, a high protein, high fat diet. Occasionally eat cereals and grains, so like things like bread and pasta. Eat desserts, biscuits and chocolate most days. So it doesn't have to be a lot, but just like a biscuit or a square of chocolate. Don't drink alcohol in the week, but hit it over the weekend. How many of you out there, a good all week, Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday comes, bang, off we go. We had a few drinks, bottle of wine, all the rest of it. That's where the body fat comes from. Exercise 3 times a week, at least. I should have put an at least there. Get 5 to 7 hours of sleep per night. So, going to bed late, maybe getting up early. Maybe a little bit of, the kids are waking you up. Drink water, but maybe the odd juice on coffee or tea. So you see where I'm going with this. Carry 1 to 2 stone of body fat. Eat whole foods 50% of the time. Sometimes skip breakfast or lunch. Not a good place to be. That slows metabolism. Often eat packaged pre-prepared foods at least once a week. Eat desserts, biscuits and chocolate pretty much every day. But that doesn't, again, that's not, I'm not talking about packets and packets. I'm talking about a couple biscuits, maybe some chocolate or a pudding after your dinner. Drink alcohol every day. So maybe a glass of wine every day. So not big units. Exercise 1 to 2, 3 times a week. And get 5 to 7 hours a night of sleep. So sometimes maybe disrupted kids, whatever it may be, can't get off to sleep, get woken up early. Carry 2 to 4 stones of body fat. You probably don't aspire to being 2 to 4 stone overweight, but maybe you've come from that place. I don't know. Eat whole foods 20% of the time. So these are people that struggle to eat foods cooked from scratch. They're eating out of a packet or a box, or it's a ready meal, or it's a takeaway. Regularly skip probably breakfast, lunch, so the metabolism is slightly sluggish. Eat desserts and chocolates every day. Drink alcohol every day and at the weekends. And if bare minimum, exercise 1 to 3 times a week. Sleep pretty much disrupted. So there we go. That's basically where do you think you fit in with all those? You're an athlete. You're a 1 to 2 pounder. Are you a half a stone to a stoner? What are you aspiring to get? And hopefully, from what I've just outlined there, based on my experience, what is it you're prepared to give up? How are you prepared? How much are you prepared to change your lifestyle in order to get what you want? And why is it you want to achieve that? And if you really want to be an athletic person, or 1 to 2 pounds of body fat, then that's absolutely fine. It's your choice, but you need to understand realistically, part of our SMART goals, what is prepared in order to get there. And I'm not just talking for a couple of 21 days or 2 months. I'm talking for the next few years, for your lifetime. What we need is support. We need support around us. We need to talk to our families. We need to eat similar foods. We need to get everybody on the right wavelengths. If you're sharing your goals with people, it's much easier if they understand where you're coming from. If you say to your family, your spouse, or whatever, this is really important to me. This is why we're doing it. It's going to really make me happy. I'm sure if they like you, they love you, they're going to support you. That's very, very important. So I'll try and get to hold of people that it's not a quick fix. It is a lifestyle. It's about basically changing your mindset and changing your habits. So I wanted to go through some tips, because I know I've just drilled home to you, hopefully, that the importance of mindset and understanding what is it you're prepared to give up, and what's realistic, what is your goals, what is your why. Now, the biggest return of investment, the tips I can give you, and I can't go in because it's only a half an hour webinar, but make sure your pen's ready. First of all, we need to improve digestion. If you're not, digestion is about how we break down food to their smallest parts, how we basically absorb those foods and assimilate them, how we take them on board into our body. If we're not doing that because its digestion is compromised, then it doesn't matter how we improve our diet, it's not going to have much effect. So we can improve our digestion through slowing down, eating in a relaxed environment, chewing our food. We can take supplements like enzymes, systemic enzymes, digestive enzymes that you can get from health food stores. If you want any more information on that, please let me know. You can take supplement on probiotics, which helps our immunity and our balance in our gut. But digestion is key. A really top tip is for most people in this country is to swap sugar for good fats and oils. So instead of having a pudding, I know you're probably going, oh my God, have cheese, or have some protein snack, something that's fatty. Fat basically stabilizes sugar and keeps us satisfied for longer. I'm talking good fats here, so I'm talking coconut oil, I'm talking avocados, I'm talking nuts, I'm talking good olive oil, I'm talking good quality meats, fish. It helps to stabilize sugars and keep us going for longer, whereas sugar is just basically in and out. It's like putting kindling on a fire. It's there, it's gone, and we store it as body fat. So where you can, you want to ditch any low-fat foods, because low-fat foods are basically mean high sugar, and then swap that with full-fat foods, and make sure you're using pretty good levels of fats and oils with your food. And that probably goes against what many people out there think, but it's changing, which is nice. Always eat protein with every meal and every snack. Now, that's a great tip for anybody out there starting off. But obviously, what you want to do, first of all, is eat whole foods. So whole foods are foods that nature intended, that don't come in a packet. Things like fruit, veg, meat, fish, nuts, seeds, legumes, like pulses. They are whole foods. Once you've got that, you need to make sure you're adding protein with every meal and snack. So instead of, for example, having an apple for a snack, you have an apple with almonds. Or instead of in the morning having toast on its own, which is just a carbohydrate, you have an egg with, avocado or bacon. You need to swap alcohol with water. If you're drinking alcohol more than once a week and you want to lose body fat, it's the absolute first thing that you need to taper down or cut out. And the only thing I can suggest with that is water. It's a simple fact. And for most people, if they just change one thing, dropping down their alcohol content makes a huge difference, not only to their body weight and their body fat, but also to their sleep, their mood, their energy levels, their appetite, everything. Vegetables are your best source of carbohydrates. So a carbohydrate is basically anything that's come from a plant. Excuse me. And you're best going off for low GI foods. If you're not sure what glycemic index means, just tap it into Google and there'll be a big list of low GI. I've made a typo there. Low GI carbohydrates. Generally, the greener the better. Be very cautious of fruit if you're trying to lose body fat. I would minimize it to one portion of fruit a day, purely because even though it is a natural fruit, it's sugary, and that's going to affect how our liver deals with food, with converting it into body fat. Another big one is to cut out cereals, grains, and dairy, and you want to replace that with vegetables. And again, if you're umming and ahhing whether what to cut out or what to start, and you don't drink much but you're a little bit overweight, then this one here is a big one. So make sure you kind of look at that. And we have this on our nutrition plans. We generally take out cereals and grains because they're so convenient. This does mean, though, that it becomes a bit of a pain, and you have to kind of organize yourself around, and think ahead what you're going to eat. Pretty simple, but eat when hungry. We're so used to, my kids, I have to tell them, you don't need that. You're eating that because you're bored. You've got nothing to do. Put it down, go and play, and come back and see how we're getting on. It's the same with us, really. You need to really be mindful and aware to the point of actually, do I need this? Just ask yourself before you start putting anything in your mouth, do I really need this now? Am I hungry? And that's not a bad tip. So just to make things easier and how to implement this, just to quickly go through it, I'm conscious of running out of time. You need to be uber organized. You need to plan ahead. You can't leave this to, the night before, or wake up in the morning, open the fridge and wonder why, you haven't eaten very well, because you haven't thought about it. You've got to visualize and plan ahead. At least plan ahead the night before, so that you look in the fridge or in your head, how's your next day going to iron out? Where am I going to be for breakfast? What's around me? What's available? How am I going to get there? How am I going to have a good meal or snack? You need to pre-prepare. You need to be friends with Mr. Tupperware. You need to freeze things. You need to cook, more than you actually need. Triple up. I think I put here somewhere. Stock up. Nothing more reassuring than stocking the larder up with plenty of foods, whole foods that you need, and especially snacks. Making sure you're stocked up on snacks. As I said, freezing is really good. Cook more than you need to. It makes things much easier. Keep a food diary. This is where the awareness thing kicks in. If you're unconsciously competent or unconsciously incompetent, this is your first port of call. So we're very happy on our member site for you to download the food diary, write it out, email it to us, and we'll give you feedback. And just doing that in itself is a way of improving your awareness. And it's the first step, really. Last one is basically making sure you love food. We all have a weird relationship. A lot of us, if you've been to Weight Watchers or weird, calorie counting places, over the years, you can make to feel like food is a bad thing. A bit corny, but we are what we eat, and we have to be able to have a good relationship with food if we want to, be healthy. So get the best you can buy. And don't be afraid of eating nourishing food. It's going to do you some favors in the long run. So there we go. I hope you found that interesting. If you have any questions, just type in the questions box now. We've got maybe just a couple of minutes just to answer any questions, and I'm happy to answer them. If not, and we'll wrap it up. Or you can email me. You'll get sent an email anyway. I'll just kind of run through Just asking if you want to ask any questions. I'm happy to help at any point. Anybody got any questions before we shoot off? If I can't answer them, I'll make sure I get back to you as well. I don't pretend I know everything about health and nutrition. No questions? I'm sure you all want to tuck up into bed and chill out. Okay, cool. No worries. I'll probably see some of you at boot camp by the looks of it. Thanks for turning up tonight and spending some time. Hopefully some of the information there was useful. I'll probably do some other webinars, but if you've got any topics that you particularly want to talk about, I'm quite happy to stick a webinar and design something. Quite enjoy it. So I'll see you soon. Take care now.